Welcome to NPT TV. I'm Randall Mauricio.
And I'm Tamara Forlansky. Corporations partnering with nonprofits has become commonplace, but those deals have to work for both sides.
That's right. We'll talk to Chris Brewer, Senior Manager of Development Communications at Livestrong in Austin, Texas, to see how that group handles those deals. But first, your headlines.
NPT unveils the annual Power and Influence Top 50.
Microsoft ups its software donation program.
And half of adults in Louisiana are volunteers.
Drum roll, please. The nonprofit Times has unveiled its Power and Influence Top 50 for 2011, a list of movers and shakers working at nonprofits. Executives on the list reflect the best of those managing and innovating through the toughest economic times since the 1930s. Technology is changing so many levels of the sector that there's little doubt that how organizations operate today might not be recognizable 10 years from now. The challenge is not allowing technology to get in the way of the human touch. That's why, once again, leaders in technology and social entrepreneurs heavily weigh this year's NPT Power and Influence Top 50. And in one of the largest turnovers in its 14-year history, 35% of executives on the list were not on it last year. Here's a roll call of the honorees and find out why they won by going to thenonprofittimes.com.
Microsoft has announced an update to its software donations program that's designed to give nonprofit organizations access to technology. The computer giant says it's reaching more than 40,000 organizations around the world each year, translating to nearly $4 billion of donated software since 1998. It is increasing the allotment of Microsoft software products that can be requested by each nonprofit from 6 to 10 titles. It is adding 3 new categories of nonprofits eligible for software donations, including medical research organizations, private foundations, and amateur sports and recreational organizations. It is including a new Get Genuine offering so nonprofits can make sure their existing computers are running genuine versions of Microsoft operating systems to help keep their software up to date and secure. For more information, go to Microsoft.com/nonprofit. You can also go to TechSoup's site at TechSoup.org.
Micro news sites formed as nonprofits have been popping up all over America. And according to a new study by the Pew Research Center's Project for Excellence in Journalism, more than half of them have an ideological bent. Pew studied 46 national and state nonprofit online news sites and found 56% of the sites were ideologically biased. The study found the more ideological sites tended to be funded mostly or entirely by one organization, while the sites with a more balanced political perspective tended to have multiple funders. The most liberal sites were 9, operating under the umbrella of the American Independent News Network. It's funded by a variety of organizations, including the Open Society Foundation, founded and chaired by billionaire financier George Soros. The most conservative sites were 12 that shared the common name Watchdog and were funded mainly by the Franklin Center for Government and Public Integrity, which was launched in part by libertarian group the Sam Adams Alliance. To see the complete report, go to the site below.
A new study by Louisiana State University suggests more than half of the state's adult population volunteers their time, talents, and services to nonprofit or religious groups. According to Kirby Goidel, co-director of the university's Public Policy Research Lab, the rate is probably more than the 51% found in an April survey. He says people consider what they do helping, not volunteering. The survey of people 18 and older was commissioned by Volunteer Louisiana, which organizes service and citizenship. It interviewed 720 people in 216 cities and towns.
Nonprofits and for-profits sometimes have an uncomfortable partnership of money and mission. Livestrong, the charity founded by champion cyclist Lance Armstrong, has a long history of positive relationships with corporate sponsors. So we caught up with Chris Brewer, Senior Manager of Development Communications at Livestrong in Austin, Texas, for some tips. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Randall. Greetings from Austin, Texas. We're here at South by Southwest Interactive.
Chris, how does Livestrong go about finding corporate partnerships?
Here at Livestrong, when we go to find a corporate partner, we really have to look through a couple of things. And the number one, though, is our relationship. When we look for a corporate partner, we want to find someone that is not just looking to slap our brand on something or conversely just write a check to us and not be engaged. A great example of that would obviously be our relationship with Nike. We've had them for many, many years and have not only been able to leverage our Livestrong brand to create an amazing line of merchandise, but through their global distribution network have been able to take our message not only around America, but now around the world. We now have our line of gear in places like Australia, France, Canada, England, so forth and so on. So, and then we have an engaged population of Nike employees that we're able to serve because quite frankly, unfortunately, almost everybody knows somebody that's had a problem with cancer. So having a very large corporate sponsor like that not only helps promote our brand, but also lets us get out our services to a great engaged population.
Not every charity has someone like Lance Armstrong as a public face of it. So what can your average nonprofit learn from Livestrong's corporate partnership activities and how they do things?
I think when you look back at the history of Livestrong, when we were primarily called the Lance Armstrong Foundation back in 1997, Lance was not a very well-known athlete. Yes, if you were into the genre of professional cycling, you absolutely knew who he was. But until 1999, when he won his first tour, the rest of the world, it was just kind of an interesting side story of an athlete who had beaten cancer. But when you add in that most corporations do have people that they engage, whether that's as celebrity spokespeople, investors, friends of executives, things of that nature, there are opportunities to find relationships with high-profile people, but that's part of the due diligence that a nonprofit has to do. I think also too, you don't just take it that a celebrity is someone who's going to automatically enhance your nonprofit. It has to be, just as you're looking with the corporate side of things, the right fit. Does that person have the engagement in your organization and mission? Is that person available that's going to be able to help with the things that you want? And then also the way they conduct their lives and the things that they represent in and outside of your organization, is that enhancing your brand as well?
We do have more of Chris. Simply click on the banner right below this video player to watch the full interview. And once again, Chris, thanks for sharing.
Before we wrap up, time is running out to enter your nonprofit in the NPT Best Nonprofits to Work For annual contest. Go to bestnonprofitstoworkfor.com to register.
Good luck, and we'll see you next time.